although you may see articles online or may hear your news anchor tell you in serendipitous, stentorian tones of authority that voter fraud is not a problem in America, and it's not measurable, and it's both a problem and it is measurable. Heritage.org has an entire site dedicated to election fraud. This is the piece of the home page there, a sampling of recent election fraud case. It's not conclusive. It is a sampling, comprehensive rather, a sampling of recent election fraud cases from across the United States. So you see, these are not single-digit issues. This is 1,298 cases of voter fraud, various different convictions, and other. So if you're curious to see what kind of, I actually was curious to see not only that there was voter fraud and that there had been an extraordinary number of convictions over the years. It's amazing that the news can somebody can just write it or somebody can say it on TV and they can just lie to you without blinking, without thinking, and people believe it. But it is a problem. It's a measurable problem. And okay, it's not like 50% of our ballots are fraud, okay? But it's more than just a rounding error, especially those of you who remember certain elections are determined by a single state and triple digits, sometimes just double digits. 59, 359 can determine an entire national election votes. You may remember those cases, so I would recommend heritage.org to you. Now, I wanted to share, what is this, okay? These are, they're not the act because you can't record in the place, but these are representations of some of the people that have popped in to vote, okay, in the age of COVID. Here's your driver's license, please. Maybe. Sir, ma'am, maybe could you remove your glasses for a moment? Could you pull down your mask for a moment? You know, and don't be surprised if somebody gets irate. Pull down my mask. It's COVID, right? I'm just trying to recognize you, right? This is a better obscuring of the face than some women in certain fundamentalist Muslim countries. Now, can you tell that of these 5 people, there are 2 celebrities there? No, of course you can't. You can't recognize them. I'll tell you, the 2 ladies on the end, on the top there, that's Diane Keaton, but you would never know it. And below her, in the reflective shades and the blue hat, that's Reese Witherspoon. Could you recognize her? No, you can't. Welcome to my world, okay? People coming into election booth like this, okay? Let's talk a little bit about mail-in ballots. This is so fun because mail-in ballots are the new cool thing to do this year in the age of COVID. Everybody wants mail-in ballots, except when they don't. We have a ton of people who have come in who had mail-in ballots sent to them by the state of Texas, who did not request them, did not want to use them, and come into the voting polling area and say, I would like to vote a regular ballot. Well, it shows here that you have a ballot that has already been mailed to you. Do you happen to have that ballot? Because you can do a trade. Paper ballot for your mail-in ballot. Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to bring it in. I threw it away. Uh-oh. Well, nonetheless, we make a few phone calls. You can still vote, and that vote theoretically is canceled. Okay, but you go home. Oh, it's sitting at home. If it's sitting at home, you got to go home and bring it in. Then you trade it. So all those people who said, oh, voter suppression if you do not have mail-in, the people do not want them. They want to come in and vote. They don't want that. So it's just created more headache for the voter and for the clerks behind the desk, and certainly for the presiding judge of each polling location. What's particularly interesting this year, because we have the rules are that if somebody had a mail-in ballot sent to them, it will show up. When I have that driver's license, I take the driver's license, I put it in, okay, it comes up. Oh, they've already had a mail-in ballot, okay, and we have to have that discussion. Well, we've had several people who are agreeing to go and who have voted, and on their way out say, oh, by the way, I also have a mail-in ballot that was sent to me. What should I do with it? That's not supposed to happen. That is not supposed to happen. What if they didn't open their mouth? What if they voted, my machine doesn't show that they had a mail-in ballot, and they send it in? Well, there's another safeguard because it may not be updated now, but you can trust that by November 3rd, if they mail in their ballot and we put the name in, it will kick it out because they will have already voted. Well, if it doesn't show in step 1, why should I believe the safeguard will be in place for step 2? By the way, all of our machines in our area, not just our polling area, but in our region, were down, okay, the other morning. So theoretically, somebody could have come in between the outage, they could have voted, it goes out, and during the outage, they could go and they could vote somewhere else, and whoop, they have 2 votes. Maybe, I don't know. Again, we have to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves, because the nonsense that the government is feeding us, and that certain parties who have an incentive to have all kinds of votes all the time, early and often, they're making problems. So do I think there are going to be lawsuits, multiple lawsuits around the country after November 3rd? Well, there already are multiple lawsuits before November 3rd. There are lawsuits in almost every one of the states right now regarding ballots. It's an interesting thing. If you thought Bush v. Gore in 2000 was an excitement with just one state in play, let's see what happens after November 3rd with 50 states in play. Well, I also wanted to let you know, well, it's not here in Dallas County, but in Harris County, Houston, Harris County, they have something very interesting. In fact, this was in the courts, and it was struck down, and a judge put it back in and said, oh, no, you have to have it. It's called drive-through voting. This is not the curbside voting that I was explaining to you, where we bring out the machines, somebody lets us know that a disability. No, this is for no special reason at all. If I want to drive, you have certain special locations that would have like a covered area. You could see it, like an awning or a covered area. And the car can drive in, and it's just drive-in voting. It's like a drive-through at McDonald's, okay? You make your order. Well, I'll take one president, and I'll take a couple of senators, a few Congress, okay? Not to go, I'll eat it here. And the worker, you see the worker out there, what's he supposed to do while he's waiting for you to vote? Maybe he'll wash your car while you're waiting. This is an extraordinary idea, okay? Whether you think it's as foolish, as disruptive, as ridiculous as I do, think about it. You can read about it. It's in the papers. Here's a little smattering of things that are going on around our country right now this week. These are just headlines that came off the internet this week regarding voter issues. A Virginia judge extends voter registration for 48 hours. Oh boy, extra time, extra problem. Supreme Court this week granted, it was 4-4, that's why we need Barrett. Supreme Court granted Pennsylvania voters an extra 3 days to mail in their ballots. In other words, their ballots don't have to arrive on November 3rd on Election Day. They can arrive on November 4th, November 5th, all the way up to November 6th, okay? If they have a postmark, it needs to be on Election Day. If they arrive without a postmark, doesn't matter. I'm expecting a bunch of ballots to come out of the back of a car on the 6th of November in Pennsylvania. Watch out. Pennsylvania Supreme Court also, Pennsylvania again, they ruled that ballots can't be rejected based on mismatched signatures. So you have a signature on file, you send in a mail-in ballot because you want a mail-in ballot, okay? You don't have to compare the signature of the mail-in ballot with your voter registration. So How do we know that it's you who sent in that mail-in ballot? Short answer, we do not. Los Angeles ballot box was intentionally set on fire. I don't know how it was set on fire, and they said they're going to replace these ballots. I don't know how they'd know, but maybe it was caught in time. I don't know. 112 Washington ballots that's Washington State, ballots were stolen from mailboxes and discarded. Michigan Governor Whitmer vetoed a bill making it a felony to fill out ballot application without consent. See, I think to fill out ballot applications without consent, that should be a felony. She said, oh, no, I veto that. Or to apply for multiple ballots. Why should any individual apply for multiple ballots, okay, if they don't have monkey business? Well, Governor Whitmer vetoed that bill. Some of the stuff going on. So buckle your seatbelts because we're in for a long and bumpy ride, I believe, on November